Hi Chewies, here's Alexandra and welcome to another video. Today I want to show you what I have accomplished painting-wise in 2021. Well, it all started with something that I received from Deadly Print Studios, and this were some Battlefield FX stuff, and I painted up this marine here with nozzle flash and some bolter shells coming out from Deadly Print Studios, and well, this started my tiny little army project here. As you can see, I have almost half of a intercessor squad and a captain. Here I developed a little bit of leather painting here with some texture painting. Made a nice power sword for him. Yeah, I developed this painting scheme in order to be easily paintable and enjoyable for me to paint, but well, quite quickly I well, didn't feel it the way that I usually do. Here at this marine I tried a little bit of oil wash after the fact, so he's a little bit darker, but overall I wasn't too fond of this painting here, and well, I continued searching for my Space Marine color scheme that I would eventually develop, but here we are now at the January of 2021. And then we came to the next project. And here we have my next army project, and it doesn't even really fit under my camera display here, and well, let's dive right into it. In the year 2020 I well, painted this fella here for a painting competition, and well, I was quite proud of him. And then on the wake of those, I painted, still in the year 2020, this warband here of the worm spat, and I had really a lot of fun painting those, and well, it all escalated from there. This army was my big stomping ground, testing ground for all kinds of stuff. So I went totally nuts with this army, and I made it my goal to paint every single marine differently. So it started with well, a little bit of dry brushing and then oil washing here with this one. A little bit of wet brushing and typhus corrosion and some washes for this one. Then here, for example, I tried something more, yeah, how would an Imperial Fist Plague Marine look like? And what else did I do? Here I tested some battle damage early in the year. I found on Instagram someone who stippled the edge highlighting, and I wanted to test that, and I thought this was a really cool look. Obviously, you can't have a Nurgle army without some serious green stuff work. Here, this is my take on that. I have a second one also in that wake here. This one here is also heavily green stuffed. And over the course of painting this army, I developed my own, very own rust recipe, which you can really nicely see here at Lord Feltius, or Festius, however he is going to call it. I developed this texture rust, and it's actually quite easy to apply. You base coat the thing you want to have really textured rust, like this here, first in a dark brown tone. I used what is it called? Mournfang brown for base coating, and then you cover the area that you want to have rust with a 50-50 mix of white glue and water, and then you sprinkle pigments on top of that with a spice shaker, instead of applying it with a brush or something like that to give it force to move flat. No, you just gently sprinkle the pigments on, and so they get a texture on their own. Then that you let that dry, and then you hit it a little bit more with some watered down PVE glue, and then when that is dry again, you can dry brush it with some oranges and browns, and you get this really nice, interesting rust texture. Yeah, this was a ginormous experiment here with his Terminator Honor Guard that he has. I went a little bit nuts with wet blending on this one here. This one is all in contrast paints. And then here I tried a little bit ice here on the pustules. Also a lot of contrast paints. I picked up my old demon prints that I had laying around. I gave him some old dragon wings. And yeah, I recently finished off his sword rust with a new rust paint from Dirty Down that I made a video generally recently. I also picked up through my bits box and found a very old Plague Marine, just for scale purposes. He's really tiny. Yeah, I had a lot of fun painting this one here with his glass tank. This was really fun. In order to know how to paint this, I went online and searched in Google for green vials and or potions, and then I found something that really looked nice, and I tried to imitate that look here on the miniature. And I think it turned really nice. I even grabbed my old Dark Vengeance Chaos Dreadnought here and painted him up Nurgle-wise. I know for army purposes they are not that good, but hell brutes, but who cares? Just paint this army for fun and not for gaming purposes in mind. So here I have also a unit of Poxwalkers, obviously, 10 of them, everyone differently painted. Here we have one in flesh colors, then the green one, and the brown one. Yeah, all kinds of nasty stuff. Obviously you can't go with Nurgle without your apothecary. Here, this painting of the cloak, this is actually from my other army, from my Stormcast Eternals, my second army. Let's quickly grab one of those. Here. And this one I also painted in 2021. A single miniature for this army. And yeah, here on this Marine I tested out some black armor paint. Also had a lot of fun painting this one. Yeah, well, what else is to say? This is my Nurgle army that I painted in 2021. And then I started painting a lot of different miniatures here and there. I don't have them around here anymore, but you can definitely find them on my Instagram. I painted a lot of Stormcast Eternals, tried test schemes out in all kinds of color choices. Like I said, also this one here again. And yeah, that was around the time the Dominion box dropped. And well, I painted some of the Stormcast Eternals from Dominion for my Stormcast Eternals army. So let me switch out here the setup, and I'll be right back. So, and there we have it. My Stormcast Eternals army. And it's not even all on this camera shot here. I still have some stuff laying around here, like for example my Gryph-hounds. They won't fit here. Then I have also my Retributors off camera. They won't fit here, but here it is. So let's start with the stuff that I have painted in 2021. Well, I made a video about rescuing eBay miniatures, and here she is, my Knight Incantor. Nice eBay rescue. Then I have painted Lord Ordinator for my Celestar Ballista. And here's the crew for that. Yeah, and then Indomitus hit, and well, I painted some of those miniatures. Here we have our Vindictors. Here I can show you one close up. I think they are really nice miniatures. Several people are complaining about Indomitus, that they have reimagined now the Stormcast Eternals, and they won't fit into a normal Stormcast Eternals army here with the bulky armor, but I think they quite actually fit here into this army quite nicely. So then I have here my Annihilators, 3 behind. If you find some cat hair here there between the miniatures, please don't be alarmed. Yes, I have a cat. What else is there in the background? Well, I have a big unit of Liberators here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 Liberators. Then I have here 5 and another additional Liberators here, led by the one from Warhammer Underworlds, here with his great sword, and those Liberators have 2 swords, and the other Liberators have hammers. I switched some of the helmets of those here for 3D printed ones. If you want those helmets, go look on Thingiverse and print yourself some knight helmets. And then, of course, I have painted my own Indrasta here. This was a lot of fun to paint her. I used some pigments here to create moss on the stonework. Really nice non-metallic metal, energy sword and spear. And the wings I had a lot of fun painting here with the brown wash, dry brushing, and then the feather work here with tiny lines. I gave the cloak some texture and stippling. Yeah, and I lost her knee pad. This knee pad here is actually some green stuff that I sculpted on, because during assembly, well, her knee pad fell down and I never found it. Well, it's lost to the ages of time and space. Yeah, that's my Indrasta. Then I have from long ago here still my Vandus Hammerhand. I converted him with a Chaos Warrior helmet. Then from the Soul Wars box set, I still have here my Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger. That's him. Here from the very first starter box here is my Lord Relictor. yeah, basically my entire Stormcast army consists of miniatures from starter sets with some minor additions here and there. It's all from starter sets. Yeah, this is how you build a Stormcast army for relatively cheap. And, well, there's still more to come and more to show, but that won't actually fit on camera, like, for example, here. A little bit of crossbolt action. Here in the front you see some other crossbolt throwers. Here in the back you see some with bows. I also gave them different helmets here. This is, I believe, from Puppets War, the gladiator helmets. Yeah, and that is my Stormcast Eternals army. I hope you like them. And, well, we will shift now to the next army project that kept me going for quite some time, and I recently made a video about them. Be right back. So, Tubies, here we have now our final product, so to speak, of the year 2021. It all began with a Stormcast Eternal that I painted. This one here. And you can see that I have, well, painted a little bit of red here on him, and I liked it so much I wanted to have a red Space Marine army, and here it is now. So, well, what can I tell you? They are fast painted, so they are not super mega detailed, but I give them enough detail and with the battle damage that they are, well, a sword to be sight, a sight to be seen when on the battlefield. So on really close inspection you can see that there is no black lining, and yeah, the details are not super detailed painted, but overall they are painted to be observed well from a normal distance. There's a thing that creeps up into my mind from time to time. It's the observant range of a miniature, and how it is warped with the well, with YouTube videos and with Instagram and such. So, for example, this miniature is well, the size of my thumb, and normally you watch it at well, the closest I can get with my miniature into focus for my eyes is about the length of my underarm here, my lower arm. So, but in YouTube videos, you see the miniature totally up in your face, and depending on your monitor, this miniature is now, well, at least 50 centimeters high or even bigger, and you see all the details that I've not been painting super exposed, and this is not how the normal eye views a miniature. So in order to actually see the miniatures how you normally would observe them, I should hold the miniature right here, for example, not super close. Yeah, and this is how they are intended to be looked at. So, what I've done, I've painted them with the stippling method to make them zenithal highlighted. So, when you watch them from above, you see all the bright red highlights, and when you watch from below, it's all pretty dark. Yeah, and recently I've reworked now the bases with a new rust method here, with the dirty down rust. And yeah, that's my Space Marine army called the Crimson Vow. They are an extension of my previous army the Wings of Fury. So with the story is the Wings of Fury. They had their home base in a space hulk that they helped liberate in the year in the 35th millennium, where they were created. The Mechanicus ordered the High Senate of Terror to give them a Space Marine army for a task, and they ordered the newly created Wings of Fury. At this point they had not this name. They had only their registration number, which is 428 for my birthday. So they liberated the Space Hulk, and the Adeptus Mechanicus got what they wanted. It was a standard construct, an STC, standard technology construct, inside the Space Hulk that they had detected, and the Marines liberated this, and they also shut down the warp drive of this rogue Space Hulk, which had inside a Remillis fortress with a very, very capable warp drive, and this kept this Space Hulk going in and out of warp in a periodical phase, and so that the Adeptus Mechanicus could calculate when the Space Hulk would re-emerge into real space, and so the Space Marines attacked at the right time. And so they shut down this warp drive, and then they started a 10-year journey throughout this entire Space Hulk, cleaning out every last remnant of gene stealers and other alien life forms from this Space Hulk, and then they made this thing their home. The Space Hulk designation was first the Wrath of Fury, and they renamed it into Emperor's Fury, and the chapter was called then Wings of Fury. So they had their homeworld, they reactivated the warp drive, and then they had a traveling homeworld, just like the Dark Angels have the Rock, the remnants of their home planet, warp capable. The Wings of Fury had their Space Hulk warp capable in form of a Space Hulk. Yeah. Their fleet-based chapter, obviously, they have several normal attack cruisers and escort ships and stuff, and they have also a very vast amount of human population on this Space Hulk, obviously, to facilitate them, to excavate technology and ships from the Space Hulk, to operate the factories and stuff inside, because there are factory ships inside the Space Hulk embedded, and some ships were repurposed, and they have also a contingency of Adeptus Mechanicus in there to operate all the systems of the Space Hulk, and such and such. Yeah, and then there came the time the Primaris Space Marines were introduced, and as you can see here at the symbol they have on the shoulders, they are from Dark Angel's gene stock, and so they have quite some history, obviously, with the Dark Angels. Of course, they are part of the Fallen. And so they have obviously several secrets, and they didn't allow the new Primaris Space Marines to just simply walk into their ranks and be done with it. They didn't allow that. But the Adeptus Custodes said, no, you have to adopt the Primaris Space Marines into your ranks, otherwise we will exterminate you. And the first captain, the leader of the Wings of Fury at that time, asked if there is a way for Space Marines, firstborn Space Marines, to become Primaris Space Marines. And it had never been done before. What you read in the stories that Manius Kalga was the first to ever cross the Rubicon is propaganda material, because Cole said to Manius Kalga that the chances of him surviving are 63%. Well, where did he got this number when no one has ever done this before? Well, the Space Hulk, the Emperor's Fury, was stationed near Mars at the first site of the Primera Space Marines when Cole released them to the world, and so they were actually the first, the Adeptus Custodes, contacted, because they were really directly at their doorstep. And so yeah, they said to the Wings of Fury, if you don't accept the Primera Space Marines, we will wipe you out. And he said, okay, then let's make us Primera Space Marines. And it had never been done before, the crossing of the Rubicon, and they vowed to cross the Rubicon together. Every single Space Marine of this chapter underwent the crossing of the Rubicon, and it was a slaughter. From the 1,000 Space Marines of the Wings of Fury, only 135 survived this crossing of the Rubicon, and so the chapter emerged in Primera's form once again, and they changed their name to the Crimson Vow, because they vowed to uphold their promises to the Dark Angels and their progenitor Legion, and to well, either die trying or becoming Primaris Marines. And yeah, this is now this chapter, the Crimson Vow. I hope you liked this little backstory and my video tour through my painting journey in 2021. And well, I wish you all a nice Christmas and a nice journey through to the next year. And well, we see us in the next video. You're Alexandra.